Friends, in this video we will learn about heredity and evolution. This is chapter 9 of Science Bio. So students, let's take here what are the terms and that are belonging to the particular chapter. Firstly, I am taking here the introduction. Now, a recognizable features of human being or any other organism like height, complexion, shape of nose, chin, color of eye, and hair, etc. All these are called the characters or the traits. So, the transmission of traits from the parent to their offspring, that is called the heredity. So, now the heredity information is present in the gametes of parents. Thus, gametes constitute the link between one generation and the next and pass on the maternal and paternal characters or the traits to the new offspring. Let us learn here about the variations. Variation is the minor difference which exists between individual belonging to the same species, and the variations arise during the process of reproduction, as we have discussed about the asexually and the sexually. So here I am taking the example of the bacterium which reproduces by the asexually. So there are variations in every generation, and the figure the given below here, like the original organism at the top will give rise to say two individuals similar in body. Okay, so the physical appearance which are similar, like one head is there and two hands in both, they are the similar, one foot is there, okay, the foot is similar. So the physical appearance which are similar, but apart from that, if we are saying that one the generation that is it has red headed, and that is this is the green foot. Okay, so now when these four will come in the F2 generation or next to next generation, obviously from this parent both are the red headed, but now a new variation will come, and right handed, that is the bluish, and the left this one, that is the red handed. And simultaneously in this particular generation, that the blue headed are there, but the body, that is the blue body, blue colored, and here that is a, it looks like a similar, but it is also carry the different genes, and they are not visible, but they are carrying. So just we can say here so many variations which are occur in the asexual reproduction, they are not visibly, and they are minute or the minor. Apart from that, the sexually reproduction which take the variations in a large amount, and they are visibly because two parents will include in the sexually reproduction or the sexual mode of reproduction, that is considered to be better than the asexual mode of reproduction. And the second example is here, like in the temperature, if all these like the generations which are not survival in the high temperature, but if a single bacterium can survive in the temperature, so the next to next generation, they will be also adaptable for that to survive in the higher temperature. So these are the possibilities by the variations. I'm going to start here important terms to explain chromosomes. What are the chromosomes? It is a thread-like structure in the nucleus of a cell formed of DNA which carries the genes. What are the genes? It is a unit of DNA and chromosomes which govern the synthesis of one protein that control a specific characteristics of an organisms, and the genes are actually units of heredity which transfer characteristic from parent to the offspring during reproduction. Actually, all the characters which are coming from parent to the new offspring or the new generation, so that the carrier, that they are called the genes. Dominant genes, the gene which decides the appearance of an organism even in the presence of an alternative contrasting gene, that is known as the dominant gene, and it is represented by the capital letter. Suppose the height, and if I am telling you about the tallness, so that it will be depicted by the capital T. And the recessive genes are here, the genes which can decide the appearance of an organism only in the presence of another identical gene, that is called the recessive gene, and it is represented by the corresponding small letter. Suppose if the dwarf heightness is showing, that we will describe here by the small tt. Okay, so what is a genotype? It is the description of genes present in an organism, like which type of genes are there. So this term that is called the genotype. Phenotype, it is the characteristics which is visible in an organism. So the phenotypic, that means the physical appearance, like just we are saying, he is tall, he is short in height, and he is fair in color, he is dark in color, her color is brown, her color is white, her eyes colors are blue. Okay, so all these are physically appearance, that means they are the visible in front of you. So this type of term, that is called the phenotype. First filial generation or F1 generation, when two parents cross to produce offsprings, their offspring is called the first filial generation or F1 generation. And the second filial generation or F2 generation, when the first generation offsprings cross among themselves to produce second generation offspring, and then this offspring is called the second filial generation or F2 generation. Mendel's experiments. Gregor John Mendel was the first scientist to make a systematic study of patterns of inheritance which involved the transfer of characteristics from the parent to the progeny. So Mendel chose pea plant, and this pea plant, that was called the Pisum sativum. Okay, so the Pisum sativum, it was the name of the pea plant, that is the name of the botanical name of the pea plant, for studying inheritance, because pea plants had a number of clear-cut differences which were easy to tell apart. For sacks, tall and dwarf plants, some pea plants produced round yellow seeds, while others produced wrinkled green seeds, etc. Also, Mendel chose pea plants because many generations of pea plants can be produced in a comparatively short time span, and their study is much simpler than that of animals. So, here I am describing the term, that is the gene. So students, remember that thing, the question can be asked to you in this chapter. Mendel used the term in the place of genes, that are the factors. So what are the genes? When a male gamete fuses with a female gamete during fertilization, they make a new cell called zygote with a full set of genes on a full set of chromosomes. This zygote grows and develops to form a new organism having characteristics or traits from both the parents which it has inherited through genes. The two genes or pairs of genes responsible for a particular characteristics are always present on the corresponding positions of the pair of chromosomes. As you are looking at here, this is the diagram representation of the genes. Now students, basic the terminology which are also I am describing here, and that is a gene. So Mendel uses the term factor for a gene. A gene is the unit of DNA responsible for the inheritance of characters. Allele, a pair of genes that control the two alternatives of the same character. Example, capital TT or small tt. Heterozygous, the organisms in which both the genes of a character are unlike, like one is capital T and another is small t. So that is the heterozygous, that means they are not identical. Okay. Homozygous, the organisms in which both the genes or the factors are similar, like capital TT or the small tt. So the both the factors which are identical with each other, that is, this term is called the homozygous. Dominant, the gene which express itself in F1 generation, that is known as the dominant gene, and the recessive gene, that the which is unable to express itself in the presence of the dominant gene. This trait is called the recessive trait. And the phenotype, It is the appearance of the individual, or we can say the physical appearance in the front of us. In Mendel's experiments, he had chosen seven types of different characters or the traits, like the flower color. It was like purple and white. That the purple it was dominant and the white it was recessive. Flower position, axial or the terminal. Seed color yellow and the green. Seed shape round and wrinkled. Pod shape inflated or the constricted. Pod color green and yellow, and the stem length tall and the dwarf. So all these are seven characters which he had chosen. So what is the meaning of monohybrid cross or the monohybrid inheritance? Let's see here. Meaning of that parental generation or the P generation, that the first filial generation or the F1 generation results the parental cross appeared in the first generation. The second filial generation or the F2 generation that present on the F1 generation were allowed to the self pollinate or to decide to the next generation or the F2 generation. So students, here that is the term which he had chosen, that the self pollination and the cross pollination. So the meaning of the self pollination is here, like if the similar plant is there and the same plant, that the flower of the same flower or the anther and the in which the pollen grains are present and the same stigma or the female part is there, and he had chosen to cross themselves in the same plant, that is the self pollination. Okay, and apart from that, in the cross pollination, that means two different types of two different plants in the same species. One from is here for the pollen grains and another for the female part, reproductive part, and that is we can say like the stigma and the ovary, and he had crossed themselves. Okay, so this type of cross or the pollination, that it was called the cross pollination. So in such way he had reproduced, or he has crossing like the self pollination and the cross pollination for his different type of researches. So students, Mendel's experiment material were the availability of detectable contrasting traits of several characters. Short lifespan of the plant normally allows self-fertilization, but cross-fertilization can carried out, and large number of seed produced. Cross between two pea plants. One pair of contrasting character is called a monohybrid cross. Example, cross between a tall and a dwarf plant or the short plant. So the parent, that is tall, and the short plant. What is the allelic pair? Capital TT and small tt. Okay, and which allelic pair of genes? So they are the representation of allelic pair of genes. Now, what are the gametes of this allelic pair? That is the, we can separate them. Okay, so capital T, now small t and small t. So all the alleles that are segregate or the separate from each other. Now in first F1 generation or the first filial generation, we got the capital T and small t, and this is a heterozygous. So all plants were tall plants in F1 or first filial generation. Now what he had got, he crossed themselves by the self pollination of the F1 generation or the F1 gametes. So here he had crossed capital T small t and capital T small t, means both the plants which have taken from the F1 generation. He had make the gametes, or we can separate them like the gametes. So capital T small t, capital T and small t are here. Afterwards what he had got in F2 generation, just you are looking at here, he had crossed and he got in F2 generation, like the gametes are there and we can cross them. So the capital T, capital T, capital T small t, capital T small t and the small t. So you are looking over here, phenotypic ratio he had got 3:1. That means 3 plants were tall and 1 plant was dwarf. Apart from that, just we can say here the genotypic ratio, that means 1:2:1. Why we are saying? Because the genetic representation is here. So what is the genetic representation is here? Capital T, this is the single one and it's the pure plant, and small t, that is the dwarf plant. This is also a pure plant because both the alleles are similar or the identical, but here it is capital T, small t, and they were the two plants. And in the physically appearance they were looking tall plants, but in genotypic ratio both the alleles were present, so they are the heterozygous. So students, due to this heterozygous condition, Mendel recognized which traits were dominant and which traits were recessive. So here, as we can say that, like a few examples are given here, like the seed shape, and where the round, it was the dominant trait, and the wrinkle, it was a recessive trait. Seed color, the round, yellow, it was a dominant trait, and the green, it was a recessive trait. Capital T, small t, both are the tall plants, while small t, it is a short plant. A single copy of T is enough to make the plant tall, while both copies have to be small t for the plant to be short. Characters traits like capital T are called dominant trait because it itself, and T recessive trait because it remains suppressed. Okay, so students, these are the conclusions of the monohybrid cross. Now, law of segregation. So the first law of inheritance, and it was the law of segregation, that characteristics of the trait of an organisms are determined by internal factors which occur in pairs. Only one such factor can be present single gamete. So that is the law of segregation, and we have got the F2 generation, till F2 generation just we have got by segregating the particular gametes. Now students, that is also called the law of dominance. So Mendel's law of dominance, organisms possessing a dominant allele will display that trait while masking the trait of the recessive allele. Here, as we have understood very well which are the dominant traits and which are the recessive traits. Now, dihybrid cross. So what do you mean by the dihybrid cross? Di means two and hybrid means to cross themselves. So in such conditions, a cross between two plants having two pairs of contrasting characters, that is called the dihybrid cross. So here are the parent round, that is the one trait or the one character, and green, that is a second character which is depicting the color. Okay, so the shape and the color both are the characters, and now the traits are the round and green and wrinkled and yellow. So students, here are the representation of the gametes or the generation, like the capital R and small y. Here the second parent, that is the small ri, wrinkle shaped, and capital Y, that is the yellow color. Now the gametes which are formed here for the crossing themselves, and that is the capital R and small y, and small r and capital Y. These are the gametes. And now F1 generation, all plants were round and yellow colored. So the gametic representation is here, capital R, capital Y and small y. Okay, and when afterwards Mendel had crossed to F1 generation, and he had got the second filial generation. So what he had done in F1 generation? In F1 generation, he had got RY, small r, capital Y, and small y. Similarly, same The gametic representation is here, like the first F1, the parent are here, and he had crossed themselves, and in dihybrid cross, just you are looking, that is a checkerboard, or this is also called the Punnett checkerboard. Actually, it is a representation of all the characteristics and the plants which you are looking at here, like the small capital Y, small r, capital Y, small capital R, capital R. So just in this way, all plants were in the different, few were similar and few were different from each other. So the phenotypic ratio in the F2 generation was 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. That means 9 plants were round and yellow color, 3 plants were round and green in color. Next one, the 3 plants were wrinkled and yellow in color, and 1 plant were green and wrinkled in shape. Okay, so all these are the phenotypic ratio in the F2 generation of the dihybrid cross. So what was the observations and the conclusion were there? So what were the conclusions over there? The round and yellow seeds are dominant characters. Occurrence of new phenotype combines, or the combinations show that the genes for round and yellow seeds are inherited independently of each other. So how do these traits get expressed? Cellular DNA, that is the information source, and for synthesis of proteins, like as we know very well, the enzymes are made up of proteins, so work efficiently, more hormones will be there, and now these hormones, they are also made up of the proteins. So according to their uh, according to their functions, by that done by the hormones, they are creating the particular characteristics. Okay, so students, law of independent assortment, it is the second law of independent assortment and law of inheritance. So the law of independent assortment tell to about that, or it states that in the inheritance of more than one pair of traits in a cross simultaneously, the factors responsible for each pair of traits are distributed independently to the gametes. So, students, you are looking at here the dihybrid cross, where, as we have already discussed about that all the factors or the alleles, they are independently assort with each other and they make the different combinations, like, so that's why just we have got so many different type of phenotypic ratios. Okay, so students, now in this way, under classical Mendelian genetics, that monohybrid crosses will remain or the result in the 3 is to 1 ratio of the dominant and recessive phenotypes, and in the dihybrid it will be result in 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1 ratio of the dominant and the recessive phenotypes, as we know very well. But genetically linked traits do not independently assort from each other. Why? Incomplete or co-dominant relationship will not yield classical Mendelian ratios. As we know, so many somatic characters are there which are coming from parent to the new generation, and where they have to be come in as it is. So that's why that these type of laws that are not applicable for the incomplete or the genetically linked traits. Now, sex determination. In sex determination, the process by which the sex of a person is determined, it called the sex determination. The chromosomes which determine the sex of a person, that is called the sex chromosomes, and the sex chromosomes in male XY and in the female is XX. If a sperm carrying X chromosome fertilizes an ovum, then the child born will be a girl. If a sperm carrying Y chromosome fertilizes an ovum, then the child born will be a boy. So it is the sperm which determine the sex of a child. So students, who is determining the gender of a child? as we know very well that the Y chromosome that determine the gender of a particular child. Okay, so what are the factors that are responsible for the sex discrimination? Now the environmental factors and the genetic factors. So in some animals the temperature at which the fertilized eggs are kept decides the gender. For example are here the turtle that the temperature is varying, and it plays a major role for the deciding of the sex discrimination. And in the genetic variations, just the factors in some animals like humans, genders or individuals is determined by a pair of chromosomes, and they are called the sex chromosomes, XX in female and XY in male. The sex chromosomes, there are the 23 pairs of chromosomes. Out of 22 chromosomes are they are called the autosomes, and the last pair of the chromosome that help in deciding gender of that individual, that is called the sex chromosome. So in female XX and in male XY. Students, sex determination in human being, just we can cross themselves, and now just you are looking at here the cross linear sketch. Here the parent, that the father is XY chromosomal and the mother that is the XX chromosome. Now we can segregate them, and the reproductive cells are X and Y, X and X, and now the zygote formed after fusion of gametes, that are the, if it will be crossed, the father's X chromosome will cross to the mother's X, that means that it will the female cross or the female child. Secondly, that is the XX, again that is also a female girl, or XY, it will be cross here, and it is the male. And the last one, that is the XY again, and it will be the male also. So here the 50% of probability of a female child and 50% probability of a male child. Now this is the transmission of traits. So the characteristics of traits of parents are transmitted to their offspring through the genes present on their chromosomes during the process of sexual reproduction. Genes work in pairs. For every trait, there is a pair of genes, one dominant and one recessive. And each parent passes only one of the two genes of the pair for each characteristics. As we have understood in the different type of like the crosses were there. So though the offspring inherits two genes for each trait of the its parents, but the traits shown by the offspring depend on which inherited genes is dominant of the two. So students, this is the DNA structure, and you are looking at here the different type of genetically representation in the chromosomes. Now here, acquired and inherited traits, a trait of an organism which is not inherited but develops in response to the environment is called an acquired trait. Acquired traits cannot be passed on the future generation. For example, here knowledge of doing something or any characteristic which was caused due to the environmental factors and not present by birth. Actually, if we are going to be studied for the doctorate or the engineering, suppose the example for you, and now this is the factor that is not coming the inheritance from your parent. If your parent that are doing some other business, so that is the acquired trait. Okay, just you are applying for yourself in your life skills. And now a trait of an organism which caused by a change in its DNA or the gene is called an inherited traits. There are characteristics which receive from parents. Only these traits can be transmitted for future generations, like eye color, skin complexion, etc. So all these are the inherited traits. Blood groups. A person has four blood groups. A and B are the co-dominant genes, whereas O is the recessive gene. The genes of blood groups are denoted by IA in superscript, IB in superscripts also. If the genotype IAA or IAIO, then the blood group is A. If the genotype IBIB or IBIO, then the blood group is B. So if the genotype is IO, then the blood group is showing O blood group. So why? Because A and B both are the superscript. Why it is? Because they are creating their own sugars, and blood group O, that is not processing any sugar, so that's why the dominancy of the blood group A and B, so they are called the codominant genes. Students, I hope you have understood this chapter very well. Thank you so much.